Julius Abure is the national chairman of the Labour Party. Thank you so much for joining us. And are you envisaging going to court? And what would it mean if the court decides the outcome of the election and not the ballot?
If the processes leading to the election is not favorable and we see a lot of injustice, manipulations in the process, obviously the option is to go to court. We are law-abiding citizens and we follow due process. They were not electronically transmitted. That's the reality on the ground.
And as the chairman of the party, you must have made a formal complaint to INEC.
The elections were conducted yesterday. I've made verbal complaints. I have done press conferences on this subject matter. By tomorrow, INEC will get a letter of complaint. That they have denied us. Can you
let us into the press statement that you made and the letter that you sent to INEC?
We've not written. We are writing tomorrow. They will get it tomorrow. You know, it's not. The election was yesterday, and we are just back to base today. So we are working on the letter. By tomorrow, they will get the letter.
But so far.
But suspicion is at its peak that the election is likely to be manipulated because you give room for such suspicion. And in all the briefings and meetings we attended with INEC, in respect of how reliable the server and this technology will be, INEC reassured us that they had recovery, they have alternative data recovery, that the system can never shut down, that they had alternative, that even where they have issues with one server, they can immediately switch to another one. That it's not possible for the system to shut down. Well, so for the system to be shut down gives room for a lot of suspicion. This preparation of this election didn't start today. They had over 4 years to make preparation. And the server has always been there over time.
Now, can you confirm?
Saying it's even technical hitches, for me, I don't think that is tenable. Because you knew you were going to run a general election that is massive, and you knew that you could have technical hitches. I mean, for the purpose of planning, you ought to plan properly and have an alternative. For God's sake, this is we are talking about 230 million people's life here. It's about the future of the country. It's about our own future. And therefore, it's a very serious business that we ought to take very seriously.
What other complaints are you getting from your men out there on the field?
No, there have been serious intimidation, harassment, that you have access to. In Lagos, for instance, people are intimidated, people are beaten up, people are harassed, and so on. And so even in Rivers, a lot of agents were harassed, some were brutalized, and so on and so forth. Across the country, specifically, we have instances in Imo, like I mentioned before. We have such instances in Lagos, most especially. We've had in some of those cases in Edo, but I'm from Edo, and we were able to resist them, and they couldn't do what they wanted to do in Edo.